convoluted enough, probably. Well, the SL9 stuff is going to be relevant to this. It's not going to be it. There is nothing here that is concrete apart from the knife, and the game doesn't like that. I'm gonna try the phone. It hasn't worked. So is this one of those situations where I have to say, no, I don't have proof yet, and then the game will find some way to be like, wait, there is, and someone else will present it. I'm gonna try this. I have no proof yet. No use showing evidence I'm not sure of myself. Can I back away? I did try to go back because I was thinking to press that button to see what happened first before trying the cell phone, but it wouldn't let me. No, Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. Huh. C or G? In that case, this court is forced to penalise you for allegations against the Chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, OG, I'll leave the rest to you. That's all. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Here we go. This is when someone else gets to play the game. Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honour of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Manners. What? He's an arsehole. He deserves the middle finger. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Huh. Why are you asking me, Your Honour? Have you forgotten? The defence is the one calling witnesses today. He's talking about Lana. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honour. The defence calls forth... the defendant is Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 PM on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honour. Very well, the court will now take its final recess of the day. In 15 minutes we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Hold on! Oh? Oh, he's here again. Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. Talking to Lana? I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Nothing sounds more ominous than that, does it? Oh, I've got nothing to hide, so don't talk shit about me or I will make you suffer. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, this isn't good. Told you he was using that as leverage. The thing is, if she testifies against this guy, he goes to jail and he doesn't get to do shit to her sister. Exactly, that's a serious threat. If anything, he would be arrested for this alone, for throwing threats around in a courtroom, trying to pervert the course of justice, manipulate witnesses, that kind of thing. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch date to meet. God, I hate that guy. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth, which is still confusing the shit out of me. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe! Not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. Flipping burgers at McDonald's. At your office, what? My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Hey, she's coming back, okay? Could he mean Maya? Well, yes. Still, looks like we're out of moves today. Chief Gant's done it again. That's how he always gets his upper hand. It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Yeah, if someone else's testimony proves that he was hiding something, he's up shit creek. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything? So, hey! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she's heard everything that's been going on. Ema, so sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny, I almost feel somehow relieved. Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. I think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all, just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she'd changed. Perhaps it was easier for her that way. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anybody, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now, I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armour. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Ema, why don't you go... nope, I'm going in with you. I want to be there, when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Let's do this. Okay. Now then, will the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye, please take the stand? Ms. Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all I've done these past 2 years. Hey Sam, how's it going, buddy? Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky, and remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Yes. That's how family works. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to his blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. That's not what we're talking about now. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. Yes, we already figured that out, Lana. Help us! My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Ema. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. Picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue? Oh my god. Yeah. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective, let's see, that was 24, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. Must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why there's no truth to the blackmail theory. Hold on. But think about it, Ms. Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. Still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And he was dead at the time. She's telling the truth when she says that, but it's a weird kind of truth. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister had almost become his latest victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana, that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. Well, we've already proven that's not how it happened. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. No, it's something we've proven. The reality is it was my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but it'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that's so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor just a little distance away. It was probably knocked away during the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife, then you moved the body. Yeah, but why? Why would you do that? Yeah, why did she have to break the knife? It's not like her sister would have told her at the time, like, well, she said she saw a broken blade being held. It would have made sense. You know, we needed the blade to be broken. And it's like, yeah, but we know that the tip wouldn't have been in the body. It would have been on the floor somewhere. So why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you plant the knife? Come now, Mr. Wright, even you should be able to figure that out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. So I knew that the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. Alright, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it in that way might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound? Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Ema. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Ema from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Ema didn't do it, period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? This is probably where the fingerprints come in now. It's like, well, why are her prints on this cloth? It did say earlier it was too early to use it. This might be the time. But well, we found these in Chief Gant's safe. Why is he holding on to your sister's fingerprints? We need to prove that he does have a blackmail hold on her. You're willing to risk the death sentence. She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence all by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. Gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. I think I need to object to that one, the blackmail theory, with the cloth that has Ema's fingerprints on it. Well, this looks like prime blackmail material, don't you think? Fabricated the evidence 2 years ago by myself. Broke the tip of Dark's planted inside the room. I want to see what happens if we also talk about why she moved the body. Let's skip back through all this again till we get to the options. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar threatened the plan. How? The pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. How did he stab him if he was unconscious? That's the problem. What's the matter, Ema? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. Yeah, so how did he write the name on it? I asked this earlier. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here. Anyway, I committed the fabrication completely alone. Where is the jar? There it is. So, again, how did they write Ema's name on the surface of the jar if it was broken already? Feeling the pressure now? I think what I'm going to do is present the piece of cloth found in Gant's safe with evidence that shows Ema's prints. I think this is a piece of cloth cut from what Neil Marshall was wearing. When you look at the colour, it's the same colour. This must be like part of the cloth that she pushed when she pushed him, so we can now say, well actually, there's this. Music didn't stop. I think I screwed this up. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honour. No, it doesn't. Okay, whatever. Bugger. Alright. But that's not it. But it's got to be this then. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events. She says that it was already broken. Let's just look at what's said again. The pieces of the jar, the wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Drake committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. And then Ema gets all like, What's the matter, Ema? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more to it than that. So we probably have to talk about the jar. Do this. Here we go. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. That's it, yeah, she said during, not after. That's the key thing. That's what I wanted to double check. I was looking at the specific wording, and she said during, not after. She didn't say that it was broken after the fight, it was broken during the fight. In which case, how could he have written Ema's name on it if it was already in pieces? What did he do? Like write it on all the bits individually to make sure that when it was put back together it said Ema while he was bleeding to death? Doubtful. Hell, he probably didn't even write it. The jar probably never even got broken. He could have been skewered and then Gant could have written Ema on it. and then said, right, and then broke it, and I'm going to keep this piece. You know, the rest of it was taken away, and it's like, now it looks like this was part of it and she was as well. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor had written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write this message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on the shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honour, it would appear more information is needed with regards to the jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, then witness may now continue the testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer, that's why she tried to erase the real evidence. But she just testified as to the fact that she thought it was pretty clear that Dark did kill Marshall. And she just rearranged the bodies too, and it wasn't about Emma. So if it wasn't about Emma, why would she have even needed to wipe the blood off? I mean, even though she said she didn't know what the message might have said, because it was broken and it was dark, still makes no sense that she would have done that. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defence's case. Hey! It's not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case, thanks. Lana, you'd do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. But you must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. How could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in the office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. I even carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Of course you do, Ian. I never miss anything. I got every last piece.